Welcome to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Now here along with Dr. Bonati, your host, Kimberly Brumell.
Good afternoon, and thank you for listening to American Medicine Today on News Radio 970 WFLA. I'm Kimberly Brumell, joined by world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. Alfred Bonati of the Bonati Spine Institute.
How you doing, doctor? Hello. Hello.
And Ethan.
Yes.
Ethan Euchre, our executive producer.
I have returned.
We are back.
From the barren wasteland of New York City.
We are so glad to have you back and working for us now.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's not about me. Let's get into to our guests when we have time. We'll talk about me when we have time. Okay. Nobody cares about me.
Well, every week we talk about the Bonati Spine Institute and the reasons why people should come to Dr. Bonati, and that's because he changed spine surgery forever. There was traditional open back surgery and nothing else on the market. Dr. Bonati was able to see the problems, and he thought about it, and he came up with his own patented methods and instrumentation to exactly pinpoint people's ailments for neck, back, and sciatic pain. So with that said, on today's show, we're going to hear from patient Steve Yancey, and later on in the show, we have in studio Congressman David Jolly, and he's going to be speaking to us about the VA scandal and Obamacare. And then, of course, we'll hear what's new in American Medicine Today. But up first...
It's a big show.
Oh, yeah. We are so excited. We have Fox News host Lou Dobbs on the line from New York City, and he recently published his first fiction book titled Border War. It's very timely, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes, but Lou, we're excited to have you on the show.
And Lou, I apologize for calling New York a barren wasteland, though not really.
No, it's not.
Great to be with you. Thanks so much.
I know Dr. Bonati's got a lot of things he wants to ask you about. Top of the list is probably just sort of the state of America under the current administration. I saw a conversation that you had, Lou, with Bill Hemmer, and you kind of laid it right out there in no uncertain terms that the president cannot be trusted. Can you elaborate on that? I'm sure Dr. Bonati will love this. Lou?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I couldn't hear the last part of what you said.
I said you laid it out to Bill Hemmer about how the president cannot be trusted. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Sure. I mean, we're looking at a president who is refusing to enforce existing immigration laws. This is an administration that says it's not a crime to enter our country illegally, when it certainly is. U.S. Code 1325 lays out specifically that it is a crime, punishable by fines, by prison, and it's just remarkable what the administration is doing in terms of a disinformation campaign waged against the American people. This is a president who wanted to pretend that suddenly the humanitarian crisis, as he constructed it, had developed on our southern border. So-called unaccompanied children coming into this country, it has just about tripled over the course of the last 3 years, each year being far worse than the previous. And now, from 60,000, we were expecting as many as 90,000 children to have crossed our border illegally by the end of September. This is a crisis, but this president, make no mistake about it, is the man who orchestrated it, who created it, through either design or sheer incompetence. Either way, it is of his making.
Lou, I first than anything, I need to tell you that you are my idol, man. I listen to you all the time, and I drool when you talk. This is how America should be. This is the type of a person that I believe America is, and you represent this type of an Americans in the highest type of representation. I love you, man.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you for the kind words.
But I need to tell you one thing. I am very confused. If an individual in the private sector is a CEO and his performance is poor, is being demoted or is being suspended or is being removed, what is the type of impairments that we have to impeach and fire Obama. Why the people doesn't react to that? It's a percentage of people that is dissatisfied with everything that he does, and why is still that type of drag that doesn't have any action. Why the people don't go and say enough is enough, and you are fired and you're gone?
Yeah, I think that is that's a question that is subtext. I think through nearly all of the politics that are playing out right now, Doctor. Here are the answers I would give you, because there are several that turn out to be factors in the decision not to impeach. One is the rancor that followed the impeachment of Bill Clinton. I think has convinced many Americans that it's not a process that they want to go through again. Secondly, that this is an African-American president, our nation's first. It is a very sensitive matter to impeach him politically, and that is just simply the reality of 21st century politics. You know, it's easy for many people to forget that this president was supposed to be our first post-racial president.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed, what he has turned out to be is a master of racial politics.
Yes.
His attorney general famously saying that we're a nation of cowards when it comes to the issue of race in America. Mm-hmm. It turns out that he may be right.
I think he's absolutely
the color
right.
of one's skin is enough for honest, straightforward, speaking, deeply concerned citizens to simply be thwarted in that concern and defer to political correctness and racial sensitivities, rather than treat any one person precisely the same as another, irrespective of his or her race or creed or culture or religion or gender or orientation. This has become a nation so divided by group and identity politics, and those who masterfully play upon our differences rather than our commonalities, that we are watching a great society literally become paralyzed.
I liken it to a shell game where we have so many different scandals going on between Benghazi and Bergdahl and the IRS and the border and Obamacare. And you see the shells being moved around and you're looking for the P. But in this case, the P is the president. Where's the president with all these scandals? He has been so clueless. And then when we find him, unfortunately, we find him raising money and doing that sort of thing for politics. Mm-hmm. But where is he when it comes to really solving these problems? What do you think about that, Lou?
Yeah, I think it's interesting that this president has the arrogance, the chutzpah, as we say here in New York, mm-hmm. to be on the West Coast raising money for 3 full days, and not in any way seemingly addressing, certainly not publicly, the crisis in Ukraine, mm-hmm. And in Russia.
Yes.
Seemingly absolutely
Israel?
deaf and dumb on the Israeli offensive against Hamas targets in Gaza. This is a president who has been, John Boehner, the Speaker of the House, called him AWOL, and that's as good a description as any. But while he is AWOL, he is out talking in partisan terms about the Republican Party and blaming the Republicans for stalling his otherwise utopian agenda that would have solved all of the nation's problems. And this is such claptrap coming from the president that it's utterly stunning.
Now, you brought up...
Republicans in the House have put forward over 300 bills that have been stalled in the Senate. If the president has a complaint legislatively, let him turn to his friend Harry Reid, who's made a mockery out of the Senate.
Right. You know, the Congress wants to pass the border bill, or get the border bill passed. And what they're doing is they're holding hostage aid for the missiles for Israel. Why are they making us pass this border bill just to be able to give aid to Israel?
I think there are some people, I think we've got to be very honest about this. There are some in Congress, in the Senate, and in this White House, who are not the friends of Israel.
Right.
And there is a judgment that's been made by some of these people, clearly, that they are not going to be supportive of Israel. They're not going to do it in the clear. They're going to be as covert in their motives and actions as they can be. But the reality is they don't wish Israel well. And those who support Israel, I would hope it would be would it be every single American.
Right.
In the fight against radical Islamist terrorists, have to demand far better conduct of this president, of the Senate in particular, because Israel is fighting for its life here. And for the president to say, we support the right of Israel to defend itself, but, and then urge a ceasefire before their strategic objectives are achieved in Gaza, it's the same thing as selling them out. And it really must stop.
Absolutely.
I agree.
I have one fast question. I don't understand why the population of Jewish people in the country are still Democrats. How they cannot support Israel is amazing that they keep electing individuals that are incompetent, totally fraud, and they attack Israel. This is to me beyond my common sense.
You know, since Harry Truman was the first head of state to recognize Israel in 1948, I think many American Jews in particular have felt a deep obligation to the Democratic Party that's represented in the person of President Trump, and that's understandable. But whether we go back to the 67 wars, whether we go to 73, the history of Israel, Republicans have been the best friends of Israel,
Right.
of the two parties. And that's not to suggest that the Republicans have been perfect. They have not in their record. But certainly, I think better than the record that's been exhibited by the Democrats. And what is happening right now with the Democratic Party, I think that Harry Truman would be physically ill to watch what this president has done, the statements by his Secretary of State. It's repulsive. It's to me so disappointing, dismaying, and I have to tell you, it is a betrayal of the great relationship between the United States and Israel, and it is nothing less than that.
Absolutely.
I think it's even beyond that. I think this man is a betrayal to the whole country. I think he's betraying the soul of the America.
Well, I agree with you to a point, but the truth is that the American people, we still have our souls. We still have our freedom. And we still have the responsibility as citizens to never, ever put a person in that office again with the values that are so inconsistent and contradictory to American traditions that the result is just divisiveness and a divide that I think will take many years to heal as a result of this president's 2 terms in office.
Well, I'm sure there's plenty more we could get into, and hopefully we can have you back on sometime, Lou.
My pleasure.
And we didn't even really get to hit on the book that much, which is also why we got to have you back on.
Yeah,
You
border.
can just buy a bunch of copies of Border War, and we'll call it even.
We definitely
already
want to
bought
have
it.
you back on. Yeah, we like Border War, and how timely is that with everything that's going on with the border? And we're hearing that the cartel is shooting from our own side because we're
Craziness.
trying to close it down. So,
Just one quick word, if I may, real quickly.
Yes.
We talk about corruption at the border. It's important for Americans to understand that corruption is on both sides of the border.
Yes.
We better deal with that reality.
That's for sure. All
Absolutely.
right. Well, Fox Business Network's Lou Dobbs tonight, the host of that legendary broadcaster, new fiction debut novel, Border War. Lou Dobbs, appreciate you joining us on American Medicine Day, sir.
Great to be with you all. Thank you so much.
Have
thank
a
you
great
very
day.
much.
All right. Good stuff.
Oh, I adore him. I adore him too. You are listening to American Medicine Today on News Radio 970 WFLA. After the break and coming up, we'll hear from patient Steve Yancey about his return to life with the Bonati spine procedures. Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail. The Bonati Spine Institute is proud to announce more than a 94% patient-reported success rate in over 45,000 patent-protected spine surgical procedures. Call us today at 855-267-0483 or visit us at bonati.com.
All my pain is gone, gone.
Today I am totally pain-free. Nothing. No after effect.
I'm pain-free, and I have had to take any pain medication.
Today I am pain-free for the first time in over a year, and it is so awesome.
I only wish I'd known about it earlier. Right now, I am completely without pain.
Sitting here in this office right now, pain-free, eager to enjoy the rest of my life.
I am feeling great.
I feel 100% better, like a new person.
Today I feel absolutely fantastic. It's just incredible, the relief I feel right now.
Today I'm completely pain-free.
During the procedure, I literally felt the pain melt away. It was fantastic.
I feel so good.
It took care of my headaches instantly.
It's incredible. It's really incredible.
It gave me my life back.
It's just wonderful.
I feel fantastic.
It is just absolutely amazing.
So I'm hoping to be climbing hills in a few weeks.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Brumell.
Thank you for continuing to listen to American Medicine Today, brought to you by the Bonati Spine Institute. I'm Kimberly Brumell, along with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. Alfred Bonati. We have Ethan Euchre and Jeff Wagstaff. Now, in our Back to Life segment, we have patient Steve Yancey on the line, and he's calling in from North Alabama. So, Steve, thank you for joining us.
Hello. Thanks for letting me join.
Well, why don't you tell us your story? How did the onset of pain occur initially?
Well, it's over 20 years ago. I was working in my yard, and it's very hilly up here. Lots of irregular turf. Mm-hmm. And I slid in wet grass and fell flat on my rear end. Mm. And I immediately felt something in my back, not necessarily pain, but I felt some sort of impact in my lower lumbar area. Mm-hmm. And shortly after that, I began experiencing pain. And I went to a local neurosurgeon. Mm-hmm. And I believe I had maybe a CAT scan or MRI, but I was 30-something years old at the time, and I was told that I have a normal spine for the man my age, with the exception of he diagnosed degenerative disc disease.
Okay.
So essentially, Steve,
from that time, I tried everything under the sun, chiropractic, tried Pilates, walking. Nothing really helped. The only relief I got was when I laid down. In fact, I might have mentioned yesterday, I wake up every morning thinking I was cured, and then about 30 minutes into my day, it would start hurting.
Steve, so when you're laying on your back and you're sleeping, I guess there was no compression, right, on your back
Correct.
areas?
There's no compression. Well, even after that, I went for a load-bearing MRI, a weight-bearing standing MRI. And again, the spine surgeons here said, nothing I can see, you're just going to have to live with it.
Wow.
Well,
so how many years?
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
How many years did you suffer in pain? I just heard you mention medication. So how long were
20
you?
years. I've suffered for 20 years.
Wow.
Holy cow. Well, and that's mostly, I'm assuming, because the doctors told you there was essentially nothing wrong with your back, right? And that there was nothing that could be
I
done?
was told there's nothing wrong that they could do. I've heard them say, well, I see a little bit of compression here or impingement here, or I see this, but really nothing, Mr. Yancey, that attributes to your pain, the level that you're reporting.
After suffering with that kind of pain for 20 years, what finally led you to find a solution at the Bonati Spine Institute?
Well, I travel quite a bit, and I saw some billboards and internet searches, and I was led to minimally invasive surgery on an internet search. And, of course, that led me to the facilities down in Florida that do that. And then I had a choice between two facilities, with Bonati being one.
And so once you finally decided on Dr. Bonati and the Bonati Spine Institute, when you visited them, where was your head at? Did you think, after being told for 20 years that there was nothing wrong with you, did you think that they would even find anything wrong with you? Were you hoping they would find something wrong with you? Where was your head at?
I absolutely knew there was something wrong with me.
Okay.
There's no doubt there's something wrong with me. And I knew that someday the technology would exist to cure the condition that I had. And when Dr. Bonati, well, actually, it was before I arrived, I sent my most recent MRI, and I believe it was Grossmith.
Okay.
Looked at him and said he definitely sees something.
Right.
And he told me he could definitely help me. So my head was, I was very optimistic that that I would be cured.
So tell us about that experience at the Bonati Spine Institute.
I was made to feel very comfortable. I was made to feel very cared for. They listened to my problems. It was obvious that they have seen many, many people like myself. And this was not something new to the folks at Bonati.
So, Steve, as someone who was, even though I've been with the show for quite a while, I hadn't actually seen a procedure until this week. So it was really cool, by the way, and if there's time later on in the show, maybe we'll get into it. But did you watch the procedure being done on the big screen as it was happening, or did you opt not to watch? Because if folks don't realize...
Yes, I watched.
Yeah, because you're conscious while it's happening.
Yes, I was conscious, and I watched, and I'll have to admit, I was a bit apprehensive, but, like I said, I knew that this was not the doctor's first rodeo, so to speak.
Not even remotely. So did you, I know Steve, they kind of, they look around, that's why they keep you conscious, they look around with their tools to pinpoint exactly where the pain was. Did that happen with you, and did you experience immediate pain relief?
Yes, that happened with me, but it's, again, like I say, when I'm laying down, I'm not suffering so much pain.
Right.
And so I think mine might have been hidden a little more than some patients because my problem is standing, and usually after 30 to 40 minutes of standing is when I have a problem.
So did they ask you to get up on the table? Because that was something also that I saw, and you just think, this is crazy.
I believe my very first procedure,
okay.
I was told to get up, I was asked to get up, and you got to understand I was a little foggy during that first one, but
Sure.
yes, I was asked to get up on the very first procedure.
Okay, very good. So 20 years in pain, you come and see Dr. Bonati and Dr. Grossmith at the Bonati Spine Institute. You have a procedure or a couple procedures done. How are you feeling today?
I am coming back before the end of the year for a right side procedure. I have issues on both left and right, the left being the most severe, and my left side symptoms are 98% gone. And I do have right side symptoms, and I'm planning for Dr. Bonati to repair my right side.
Very good. Well, let's hope that goes well. I'm sure it will, because Dr. Bonati is he's just a medical genius with those tools. And we appreciate you joining us, Steve Yancey, and continued pain-free living. Even though you're 98%, we'll get you to 100%, I'm sure. Thank you, sir.
I feel very, very confident I'm going to be 100% before the end of this year.
Oh, that is
All right.
fantastic. Well, continued good health, Steve.
Take care, Steve. Thank you.
After this discussion, I'm not going to do the surgery.
No.
Dr. Bonati's mic was off, but he said after this discussion, I'm not doing this surgery.
No.
He's just joking.
He's kidding. You are listening to American Medicine Today on News Radio 970 WFLA. After the break, we're going to be speaking to Congressman David Jolly about not only Obamacare, but the VA scandal. Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail. The Bonati Spine Institute is proud to announce more than a 94% patient-reported success rate in over 45,000 patent-protected spine surgical procedures. Call us today at 855-267-0483 or visit us at bonati.com.
All my pain is gone. Gone. Gone.
Today I am totally pain-free. Nothing. No after effect.
I'm pain-free, and I have had to take any pain medication.
Today I am pain-free for the first time in over a year, and it is so awesome.
I only wish I'd known about it earlier. Right now, I am completely without pain.
Sitting here in this office right now, pain-free, eager to enjoy the rest of my life.
I am feeling great.
I feel 100% better, like a new person.
Today I feel absolutely fantastic. It's just incredible, the relief I feel right now.
Today I'm completely pain-free.
During the procedure, I literally felt the pain melt away. It was fantastic.
I feel so good.
It took care of my headaches instantly.
It's incredible. It's really incredible. It gave me my life back.
It's just wonderful. I feel fantastic.
It is just absolutely amazing.
So I'm hoping to be climbing hills in a few weeks.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonatti and your host, Kimberly Bermel.
Thank you for joining us for American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Bermel, joined by Ethan Euchre. And yes, I said Ethan Euchre.
Yes.
We brought him back from the blaze.
I am back from the dead. Yes.
And we are so proud to have you here.
Did my time in Manhattan, decided it wasn't for me. And thank God for you, Kimberly, and Dr. Bonatti for bringing me back. So here we are.
Absolutely. And we have Jeff Wagstaff here, our senior fellow.
He is. You're still a senior fellow, I see.
I have remained a senior fellow here at the Bonatti Spine Institute.
Very nice. Very nice.
And we have world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Bonatti. And in studio, we have guest Congressman David Jolly. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Kimberly. I appreciate it.
We are excited to speak to you not only about the debacle with the VA, but also about your thoughts on Obamacare.
Sure. Which one do you want to start with?
Well, I mean, the first thing, kind of why I reached out to your folks, Congressman Jolly, is Kimberly wanted to get somebody to talk about the VA scandal, and I see you all over the news up in Washington talking to some of the whistleblowers and this and that. So just if you could give us a little bit of background on how you got involved, and for people that don't even know what the VA scandal is all about, if you could kind of summarize that as well, that'd be great.
Sure, of course, you bet. So when a new member of Congress is elected, they're assigned certain committees of jurisdiction. I asked to go on the Veterans Affairs Committee. This was about 3 to 4 weeks before this crisis broke.
Oh, wow.
So it was very interesting timing to go onto the committee. We know that the density of veterans in the Tampa Bay area and Pinellas County, where I represent. We know the good work at Haley and at Bay Pines. But the fact is, VA is going through a crisis right now. And in the words of one of their senior leaders, it's a crisis of integrity. And we can't lose sight of the fact that veterans have died as a result of negligence of the VA. And that's not to be political. Those are the facts. Veterans have died. It's a historic crisis. We should recognize it as a historic crisis, and I think it needs historic solutions. My concern is the political establishment is always too late to identify a crisis and too quick to consider it resolved. We are nowhere near having this resolved. So what are a couple things that have happened already? The immediate need is to clear the waiting list. The tens of thousands, maybe 90,000 people on the waiting list. Wow. The administration is working through that proactively. Congress is trying to give them additional authority to move through that waiting list even more quickly. And then how do we pay for it? There's a bill pending in Congress that hopefully will be resolved very soon that freezes senior level bonuses for the next 2 years. And that in itself frees up $800 million that can go towards health care.
The $800 million that were just being given out in bonuses.
That's right. Here's an interesting thing about one of our hearings. You'll like this. So,
how do you get that gig? That's what I want.
Well, it gets even better. Okay, so bonuses are based on evaluations at the end of the year. Of all the senior officials that were reviewed, not a single senior VA official received an evaluation of less than above average. Now, explain how that works on a bell curve. If everybody's above average,
right,
then who are you being compared to? There's no average, right? So $800 million will be saved when this law is enacted.
When we know the entire system is operating well below average in competency and efficiencies.
That's exactly right. Listen, we could talk about several reforms. I have a few ideas. I will tell you this. A number of veterans, the vast majority of veterans that I speak to, and we recently had a day where we invited every veteran that wanted to come speak to us, come into the office. We had about 300 people show up. The vast majority want to stay within the VA healthcare system. They like it. They like their doctors, they like their nurses, they like their staff. There obviously are those who want to go outside of the system and have complaints. So I don't necessarily subscribe to the notion of just voucher everybody out and shut down the VA because the veterans like it there. Here's something I think we can do, though, to inject the competition that will ultimately lead to improvements in VA healthcare. Give every veteran a choice card, like a TRICARE card, like a Medicare card. Let them choose where they want to go. If they want to go to the VA, go to the VA. If they want to go to another provider, go to another provider. And what we will be able to quickly identify is what is the attrition rate of patients at different VA facilities. Because it'll be different in Tampa and St. Pete than it is in Arizona or Boston or LA. But we'll be able to identify based on competitive pressures which hospitals are performing well.
Congressman Jolly, you've had a chance to really drill down on this. What is the state of those VA facilities here that our Tampa Bay area veterans, when they go to the VA, what kind of service are they receiving? I think we can all agree that they deserve the very best of health care. But what are they actually receiving? All we hear are the negatives on the news. But what is your personal assessment of these local facilities?
We hear great compliments about the doctors and nurses and staff, about the quality of care. We really do. We hear great compliments about the quality of care. The frustration is first in getting in. It can be months to get your first appointment. So the delay in getting in. Secondly, if a patient, a veteran patient, asks for a different physician or asks to go outside of the system, they rate that experience very poor. One of the things we did when we had the 300 people in our office is we did a survey. Now, this is a self-selected group, but roughly 70% rated their care as excellent. If you go average to excellent, it got up to about 90%. But for those who said they asked to go outside of the VA healthcare system, the process within the VA to get referred out was rated as very poor by about 50% of the patients. So quality of care is great if you can get in and get it. Referrals are not operating as efficiently or as patient-centered as they should. And then lastly, in specialties and subspecialties is where we hear a number of complaints. One of the greatest concerns we hear is the length of time for a specialty consultation. So, for instance, a colonoscopy or some type of gastroenterology. And the wait list then, that ultimately when the patient is seen 5 months later, 8 months later, 11 months later, we've heard a number of cases where they're then diagnosed with stage 3 or stage 4 cancer when they should have been in to see that physician 11 months earlier, 5 months earlier, whatever the time wait is.
Now, do you think part of the problem is just there's not enough doctors and nurses? I have a figure here that I was reading a little bit earlier. They're saying that Sloan Gibson, who was the acting secretary of the VA, the Senate Veterans Affairs Committee, said it's going to cost $17.6 billion over the next 3 years to fix the problems that led to the waiting list scandal, and will require hiring 1,500 doctors as well as 8,500 nurses to sort of fix these problems. So I'm assuming lack of resources and understaffing is a major part of this issue?
It may be, but if so, that is the responsibility, and I will say the fault, of this administration.
Yeah.
And here's why. The VA has received every dollar it has asked for. It is the second largest department with nearly 300,000 employees. 300,000 employees.
That's incredible.
Their budget has nearly doubled in the past, and I don't know the exact number, say 10 to 12 years. So they have been provided the resources. Have they used them effectively? Probably not. I think that's obvious. And then the second issue, and I will bring this in, there are labor rules within the Department of Veterans Affairs and human resources rules that interfere with the timely acquisition of human capital. It can take 6 months, 8 months, or 10 months to make a hire at the VA.
Wow.
When outside in the private sector, we can make that hire tomorrow and be at work. The VA rules don't allow for that, or at least their administrative policy doesn't allow for that. So if there is a shortage, listen, Congress will listen to that request, and I imagine Congress will provide sufficient funding. But at the end of the day, we need dramatic reforms institutionally within the VA. I think we need to shatter the bureaucracy within the VA once and for all. Break it up, and let's create a new VA that actually is patient-centered.
Are they going to leave the same management in control?
I hope not. So the VA system, the healthcare system, is divided into different regions. And listen, some perform very well. Some don't perform very well. We saw what happened in Phoenix. One of the reforms that I've proposed, in addition to a choice card for the veteran, I would like to see us consider competitively awarding to a private healthcare provider a management contract for VA regional systems. So if you consider here in the Tampa Bay area, you have BayCare Health Systems, and that includes several different facilities. It's a group of facilities. The VA operates in essentially the same way. Our regional system over in St. Petersburg comprises about 6 different facilities. Let's consider competitively awarding a private contract to a healthcare provider that's used to providing quality care. Do we do that in every region right away? Probably not. But is it worth a pilot project where we say, let's choose 3 regions and do it? let's do it. And then let's measure the metrics against those that remain within the VA institution.
Well, we got about 2 minutes left. I know, Kimberly, you wanted to get Congressman Jolly's thoughts on the Affordable Health Care Act. Don't really have a specific question for you other than, one thing that keeps coming up every time we discuss it is sort of the constitutionality of it.
Sure.
You're an attorney. I mean, is the Affordable Health Care Act constitutional?
I think the individual mandate is unconstitutional, personally. Supreme Court has ruled under the taxing authority of the Congress it can be declared constitutional. That, to me, suggests it's the largest tax increase in American history then. Listen, I would have voted against it. I would vote for repeal of it. But we have to have answers as well on my side of the aisle. I like to talk about a term health insurance plan that provides price certainty, can't be canceled based on intervening health events. That, or a term health insurance plan, that's accomplished through less regulation, less government. Decouple it from the employer. Listen, we wouldn't have the Hobby Lobby case right now if people actually had control over their health care and didn't have to rely on an employer-subsidized health plan. That is one more example of what happens when we have regulations and too much government controlling our health care.
How affordable do you think the Affordable Health Care Act has been?
Well, if you ask people in Pinellas County, not very. And you ask those who have lost their plans, not great. There was a story this weekend, actually, somebody who was excited to get an affordable plan, and it turns out they can't actually get a doctor now, because the Humana plan that they chose, their doctors aren't available. So listen, Obamacare has been a disaster. It is the president's signature signature legislative achievement. And yet on his own, he's unilaterally delaying and postponing provisions of his own signature law.
Correct.
And that reflects the fact that he knows it's a disaster. And
how come so many companies are becoming exempt from it?
Well, that's a result of his 1 year delay. So, Congress continues to push through changes to Obamacare, and he won't even listen. But yet, on a Friday night, late at night, he'll issue an executive order to actually delay or change his own law because he knows what Congress has been saying, and frankly, what the American people have been saying is right all along. We could have accomplished specific solutions to our healthcare issues, healthcare coverage issues, without bringing the government in to 1/6 or 1/7 of our economy. The patients have lost choice. They've lost control of their own healthcare. It's driving up costs. And where we're really hearing concerns is from businesses who have rushed to renew plans ahead of the Obamacare requirements, or who are having to absorb additional costs, or frankly, lay people off or reduce their hours to comply with Obamacare.
I think because nobody really read it and knew what was in it. That's right. That was the biggest problem.
Yep. That's right. All right. Well, we appreciate your time, Congressman David Jolly. Headed back to D.C., I'm assuming?
Tomorrow morning. We'll be in for 2 more weeks, and then we'll be working here in the district over the month of August.
All right. Well, it was a pleasure. Appreciate you stopping by the studio here and joining us on American Medicine Today. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And Kimberly, if people want to get in touch with the Bonati Spine Institute, how do they do so?
Well, they can reach out to 855-267-0483 or visit Bonati.com. You're watching American Medicine Today and listening on News Radio 970, WFLA.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
The Bonati Spine Institute is proud to announce more than a 94% patient-reported success rate in over 45,000 patent-protected spine surgical procedures. Call us today at 855-267-0483 or visit us at Bonati.com.
All my pain is gone, gone, gone.
Today I am totally pain-free. Nothing. No after effect.
I'm pain-free, and I have had to take any pain medication.
Today I am pain-free for the first time in over a year, and it is so awesome.
I only wish I'd known about it earlier. Right now, I am completely without pain.
Sitting here in this office right now, pain-free, eager to enjoy the rest of my life.
I am feeling great.
I feel 100% better, like a new person.
Today I feel absolutely fantastic. It's just incredible, the relief I feel right now.
Today I'm completely pain-free.
During the procedure, I literally felt the pain melt away. It was fantastic.
I feel so good.
It took care of my headaches instantly.
It's incredible. It's really incredible. It gave me my life back.
It's just wonderful.
I feel fantastic.
It is just absolutely amazing.
So I'm hoping to be climbing hills in a few weeks.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute, featuring the internationally acclaimed inventor of the Bonati spine procedures, Alfred Bonati, MD. Once again, here are Dr. Bonati and your host, Kimberly Bermel.
You're listening to American Medicine Today, presented by the Bonati Spine Institute. I'm Kimberly Bermel, joined by world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonati. We have Ethan Euchre here, and we're going to get into
what's new in medicine today.
Let's look at what's new in medicine today, featuring Alfred Bonati, MD.
Well, Dr. Bonati, I know you're all wound up about the VA and, of course, Obamacare, so why don't you take it from there?
Well, we keep talking about the Obamacare, we keep talking about the VA scandal. Problem is, both are practically entangled with the politicians. Mm-hmm. So the results are going to be nil and probably will never solve this trouble. Let me tell you this, just to correct a little bit, to put a patch on the VA problem, we need around $17.6 billion. That is going to around bring 1,500 more physicians and 8,500 more nurses. Mm-hmm. But guess what? They're going to be under the rules of the contract of the government. Mm-hmm. So you're going to hire people that they are going to be, again, in a irresponsible behavior. Mm-hmm. You cannot hire people that you cannot fire. Correct. If the results are not good. Now, if you look a little bit more, the amount of responsibility that the VA has is unparalleled in business. Mm-hmm. One of the problems that we see is this scandal that you have on the manipulation of the waiting list will never happen if the physicians will be managing this, or a reputable structure of business will be managing this. Mm-hmm. The next thing that happens is you see they are an overpay of all the individuals that work in the VA. But guess what? Mm-hmm. They are not physicians overpay. They are clerks, they are managers, mm-hmm. and the last year they have $800 million on bonuses. Mm-hmm. So imagine the amount of help that the vets can have with that amount being spent in irresponsible, totally incompetent, mm-hmm. mismanagement, and individuals that they don't have the heart to help our veterans.
Here's my question, not to interrupt you, Dr. Bonati, but that was news to me this week when I found out from someone else that we interviewed about the level of bonuses that upper management is getting. The 800 million you said?
800 million, yes.
That's out of control. I mean, who is awarding these bonuses? That's what I want to know.
Oh, it's the
They're awarding it to
Department of
themselves.
Veterans Affairs.
Like, hey, I deserve a bonus. I'll
Exactly.
give myself $10 million.
And they put the bonuses themselves. I mean, it's nothing. You don't have any way to regulate this. It's I need a bonus. I'll give me my upgrade on my performance, and I'm going to receive the bonus.
Right.
So it's not even a decent behavior on the individuals that are here. Why? Because you cannot fire these people. Now, you have another problem. This is so painful. Imagine that if you compare the veterans from the old veterans to the new veterans, the amount of veterans that they are coming from the recent wars is pouring in the country right now. But if you look, the amount of mortality by suicide on the young veterans is elevated to 40% in comparison to the old veterans. Do you understand that 22 vets, young boys or young girls, are committing suicide every day in the country? And this is not news.
No.
This is like, well, that's fine. And this is also nothing more than a disgusting behavior of authorities, again, managed by politicians.
Correct.
The solution to this is remove the Veterans Administration, remove the individuals that they are with bonuses, throw all these people to the streets to make money by responsible behavior, and get on the system individuals with a type of a pass that any veteran can go to any doctor and to any hospital. We will save billions of dollars. The vets will have a tremendous amount of good service, and everybody will welcome them and treat them right. It's amazing the irresponsibility of the politicians. And they keep talking about fixing the VA. The VA cannot be fixed. It's a cancer, is corrupted, and is managed by politicians to only put their names and their figures and their faces in televisions and radio, so you remember those names and you vote for them. This is practically criminal.
And that's a look at what's new in medicine today with Alfred Bonatti, MD.
Well, Dr. Bonatti, we have to start somewhere. So I think some of the items that David Jolly mentioned about, getting...
Yeah, well, he basically said that a lot of the fix is already starting to happen. That the wheels are moving. That
they've seen some of the problem. They're going to fix it. They're going to hire.
They've identified the problem.
They are fixing this for the last 40 years.
Yeah.
Every politician who works in the system, I don't know about Mr. Jolly. Probably he has the best intentions. He's a new blood on the system. Probably is charged with desires to help the country. The first thing that he needs to do is look at the system and say, this is obsolete, this is irresponsible, this is not working. We save this money. We put the vets in charge with certain type of a voucher, and is being served by the physicians in the country. What we'll do with that is, number one, we'll have physicians serving the vets with care and responsibility. We have systems of hospitals that will treat the vets how they're supposed to. Correct. And we will have, at the same time, not this mortality that we have in young guys today. 22 vets commit suicide every day. This is shameful.
It is.
Absolutely. Well, that's a topic that's going to be ongoing for sure.
Yes.
And, it's... As we're up against the clock, running out of time here today. Glad to be back, that's for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's good to be, I'm going to be a part of the TV show now, too, which is cool.
Yeah, that's going to be on WFTS, ABC 28, Saturday evening, starting at 7. And, of course, you're here to stay on the radio program every week, noon to 1 on News Radio 970, WFLA. Keep tuned, and we'll have more about Obamacare and what's new next week.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.
The Bonati Spine Institute is proud to announce more than a 94% patient-reported success rate in over 45,000 patent-protected spine surgical procedures. Call us today at 855-267-0483 or visit us at bonati.com.
All my pain is gone, gone, gone.
Today I am totally pain-free. Nothing. No after effect.
I'm pain-free, and I have had to take any pain medication.
Today I am pain-free for the first time in over a year, and it is so awesome.
I only wish I'd known about it earlier. Right now, I am completely without pain.
Sitting here in this office right now, pain-free, eager to enjoy the rest of my life.
I am feeling great.
I feel 100% better, like a new person.
Today I feel absolutely fantastic. It's just incredible, the relief I feel right now.
Today I'm completely pain-free.
During the procedure, I literally felt the pain melt away. It was fantastic.
I feel so good.
It took care of my headaches instantly.
It's incredible. It's really incredible. It gave me my life back.
It's just wonderful.
I feel fantastic.
It is just absolutely amazing.
So I'm hoping to be climbing hills in a few weeks.
Revolutionary in his field, Dr. Bonati created, perfected, and patented the Bonati spine procedures. Using his genius, Bonati invented precise tools necessary to minimize surgery, scarring, anesthesia, and recovery. So successful are the Bonati spine procedures, they consistently reflect over 94% patient satisfaction. 45,000 successful procedures have been performed exclusively at our location. Nearly half our patients suffer from failed back and neck surgeries at other facilities. Bonati succeeds where others fail.